Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And what are we talking about this time? Well, Microsoft has released their third quarter financials, and it ain't looking so hot. So Microsoft released its financial report for the third quarter ended in March of 31st of 2023, with the company noting a 30% decline in Xbox sales. This was due to not that. So basically, this was due to the prior year comparable high that benefited from increased console supply, right? So Xboxes were hard to get. The supply went up and you had increased hardware sales. So basically for hardware, it has slowed down, which is not unreasonable. That does happen, but not so much for Sony, because Sony still, I think the last thing they sold, they just talked about selling 38 point something million consoles or something to that effect. So for Microsoft, not going so great. A little 30% decrease in sales. As far as despite sales of Xbox failing, their content and service revenue for the console increased by 3%. This was driven by monetization from third-party and first-party content, and of course, Game Pass, right? So that went up 3%. So they can say, yay for that one. For the quarter, the segment brought in $13.3 billion, a 9% decline year over year. In gaming, revenue declined 4%, which they say was ahead of expectation. So they expected it to be lower than that. That's pretty bad. Or maybe it's good. I don't know. So for quarter four in gaming, Microsoft expects revenue growth in the mid to high single digits. The company expects Microsoft Xbox content services revenue growth to be in the low to mid teens. So driven by third-party and first-party content, as well as Xbox Game Pass. So they're expecting in the fourth quarter for Game Pass to be somewhere in the teens, the mid to high teens, and they're expecting their Xbox revenue to be up a percentage to mid to high single digits, even though it's down 30%. I would assume 30% overall, right? So Microsoft noted that in the investors call that the fourth quarter and financial year of 2024 will not include any impact from Activision as it continues to work to close that deal with them. And they're hoping to close it by the end of fiscal year 2023. So, which will probably happen. But yeah, Microsoft is, they're trying, I guess. The thing is, and I'll give you a little bit to chew on here, Shane. So the thing with the Xbox as of right now, right? And my biggest problem with the Xbox, like I'm a fan of the Xbox. I enjoy the Xbox. I like it. We have all the consoles and everything like that. Recently, I've been kind of disappointed in Xbox. And the reason why is because besides third-party games, there's nothing else offered on the Xbox besides the third-party multi-platform offerings, right? I've actually recently been playing a lot more on my PlayStation because PlayStation has games that only come to PlayStation, right? A lot of the Japanese games that we get here from Japanese developers tend to go just on the PlayStation and PC, right? Or just PlayStation in general, and never come to the Xbox. So, and those games you can't play anywhere else besides there. So a lot of those games cover some good JRPGs and various games like that I've been picking up recently and playing. But they're only on PlayStation, where Xbox doesn't have that offering right now. Xbox, the only thing you're offered on Xbox is the multi-platform games that come out on everything. They do have some first-party games coming out, such as Redfall, which is coming out soon. And we've talked about Redfall, and we don't know, is it going to be good or bad? We don't know. I mean, there's some negative offerings when it comes to Redfall. I feel like with Microsoft, they really got to up their level of first-party titles. And I'm not talking about just releasing first-party titles. That'll be good too. But their first-party titles don't meet the quality that Sony first party titles meet, right? We've had a few first party, some of the lower ones like Minecraft Dungeons, or not, was it Dungeons? I think it's Dungeons, that just came out recently. And there was another game that was kind of an Xbox exclusive that came out as well. And those have gotten okay reviews, right? Mediocre reviews, or Minecraft Legends, I think it was, not Dungeons, but whatever it's called. Anyway, those have gotten mediocre reviews, but not to the same effect that Sony has, right? When Sony comes out with a God of War or a Spider-Man or any of these from their first party studios, they're like, top of the line games. Like, they're phenomenal. Whereas Microsoft's first party offerings are kind of like, meh, they're kind of mid. And it's like, come on, Microsoft, you really got to step it up if you want to compete as far as your first party offers. Otherwise, your Xbox just turns into a third party box, right? And that's what brings you to another point is, then you kind of think at that point, why do you need an Xbox, right? Why do you need it? I mean, because all their first party games do come to PC. If you have a good PC, you could play them there. And if you want third-party offerings, they're going to be on PC as well. Or you could buy a PlayStation for PlayStation's exclusive third parties, and then the PC stuff on Microsoft's end, right? Maybe you want a console because you don't want to mess with the PC for that. But, on the flip side of that, besides Game Pass, let's take that out of the equation here. With Microsoft's just first-party offering, is that beneficial enough at the moment, right? There might be some good stuff coming in the horizon. But at the moment, is it worth getting an Xbox for the first party offerings alone, right? Or is it not, right? And that might be why we're seeing this dip in sales, right? They have third party games coming in and things like that, but Microsoft's just not rolling out enough first party titles, and the first party titles that they do roll out are not to the expectations that I think a lot of people, Halo Infinite as a good example, that people are expecting, because if Sony can deliver it, why can't Microsoft, right? So what do you think? I know there's a lot of information there, but what do you think of all this?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. No.
There's nothing you said that was wrong. I mean, you're absolutely right. When it comes to those first party games of quality and magnitude that Sony has, Microsoft has only put out very few, like less than a handful over the last 10 years. Hellblade, Senua Saga. That, to me, that's right up there with the God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, because it has amazing story, it has amazing gameplay, it had everything that you need to make an amazing game. Then that's it. I mean, that's literally the only one I can think of in the last 5 to 10 years that blew me away from Microsoft. Hi-Fi Rush, fun little game. It really is a fun game. But it's not what's going to sell consoles. It's not what's going to sell Game Pass. Microsoft's biggest issue right now is they have games. They're just not making quality games. They're not, they're pushing things out too hard. Halo was a fail. I enjoyed Infinite. I really did. I didn't want to see it go open world like that, though. But that's just because I'm just burnt from open world. But the overall story of the game is fun. The multiplayer is fine. It's just nothing really, changed to it. Nothing really super exciting. So I'm not too keen on that part of it. And then when you look at what they've got coming out, Redfall, that so far is starting to look like a disaster. I mean, frame rates are going to be crap. They don't tell you much about what's really happening with the game anymore. And the Hellblade sequel, has been in development for I don't know how long now. We heard about it when they first announced the Xbox Series X and S back in the Game Awards. What was that? 2019, I think it was 18. Where's it been? It's nowhere to be found. Now we have Starfield coming out. Now Starfield, if it holds the quality of the Fallout series, far as enjoyment and gameplay and all that stuff, it's great. But is it a competitor for Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Uncharted, Last of Us? It's not going to hold a candle to those. Those games are amazing because they don't just have quality gameplay; they have quality storytelling. That's what we want from Microsoft, because you have great storytellers. They just need to be able to make the great story games. The more they buy these developers, it's starting to feel more like EA. They buy them and then their IPs disappear, and then you don't hear anything from the developers anymore. And the next thing you know, they're just a fart in the wind. They're gone. And that's Microsoft's biggest problem. It doesn't do no good if they are able to buy Activision Blizzard if they do not get the damn games out, and they don't get them out quality, not broken, not half-assed, not a complete revamp of what was really enjoyed previously. And their new games, their new IPs they've got to start pushing that quality that Sony does. I love my Microsoft Xbox. I love my Sony. I love my Switch. But if I'm going to if I had to pick a console to only play, it would have to be PlayStation. And I hate saying it because Sony pisses me off. I don't like Sony's antics. They're anti-gamer. They're anti-consumer. But man, they make some quality games. You only get 4 a year, maybe 5, but they make quality games. I prefer to play my my third party on my Xbox. That's just because that's just what I've done since Microsoft released with online play. Sony's online for like PlayStation 3 was crap. I hated playing online with Sony. I hated trying to use their interface and all that stuff. Granted, they're 1,000 times better now. It's just, I feel more acclimated to play on my Xbox online. I feel more acclimated to play my third party. I love the controller. The controller is my baby. My, even my cheapest one that somebody got me for my birthday. Love this controller. Love this. But if I had to choose, I would choose Sony over Microsoft. I would choose Sony over Nintendo. I would choose Sony over PC. Because I know I'm going to get 4 to 5 good games a year, great games. And then third-party stuff is fine. I mean, Microsoft, you've got to start hitting some shit out of the park because you're failing yourself. And you got devoted gamers who, if given a choice, they would stick to one console, and it ain't you. So, and I like Microsoft, so they got to start doing something. That's why they're losing money. Game Pass is fantastic. Game Pass is a great idea. Sony sucks because they're not doing anything remotely like it. The value of Game Pass is amazing. Microsoft doesn't care about consoles no more, though. Let me point that out. They don't care about console sales. They care about that environment of Game Pass. That's what they care about right now, because that is a consistent amount of money they're going to get. Mostly consistent amount of money every month. If they don't sell all their consoles, but they're still selling Game Pass because now you can play them on your PC, and hell, was it Samsung they're partnering with to be able to start streaming and crap,
Yeah, I think they come pre-installed on the TVs, the newer Samsung TVs.
Yeah. So, I don't, as far as a console goes, PlayStation all day long, no problem. But, I like what Microsoft does as far as Game Pass and things like that. I like the way their multiplayer, their online works better. So, I just want to see them get those damn games out. Give me the quality games that Sony puts out. That's what I want. I want a new Halo with the level of storytelling you get from God of War or Last of Us. I want that because the Halo universe is a beautiful universe. You just keep pissing it away. So I'm done ranting. I'm done.
No, I agree. Like, if taking PC out of the equation, like the three consoles, Switch, Xbox, or PlayStation, if you said you can only keep one, yeah, I would keep the PlayStation. That would be the one I would keep. Because, like you said, Microsoft with their first party offerings, they're just not up to the quality of what Sony gives with their first party offerings, right? When if Sony's coming out with a first party game, most of the time it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to look phenomenal. It's going to play phenomenal. It's going to be phenomenal, right? When Microsoft comes out with a first party game, you're kind of like, I don't know. It could be great. It could suck, right? I mean, I think the last game that we played, if I can remember, there might be another ones, but the last one we played that I thought was absolutely fantastic was Gears 5.
Yep.
Gears 5 was awesome. I loved Gears 5. And we played it co-op together, you, me, and Pat. And I had, it was fantastic. And then they came out with the DLC, Hive Busters, which was also fun to play through. And I enjoyed the DLC. And we had a lot of fun playing through that game. But that's the last one I remember that was really enjoyable. Before that, Ori. I think both Ori games were, and I don't know why Microsoft didn't buy that company and have them create more. I mean, because Ori was just like, it wasn't just the gameplay in Ori. It was everything
overall amazing.
Yeah. Sound design, the graphics, I mean, I didn't play the first Ori when it first came out. I played it like 2 years later because I never touched it. Like everyone said it was cool. I just never did. It was on Game Pass. I downloaded the first Ori and played through it and beat it and loved it so much. I immediately started the second one and then played through and beat that one. And usually I take a break between, if a game has a sequel, I'll usually take a break because I don't, it's a lot sometimes to play the same game back to back almost. I mean, it's a sequel, but still the same concept of a game. But I loved Ori so much, I played it back to back. And like that game was, at the time and everything, I think the second one at the time, the second one was just out a little ways, but I had played the first one first because I wanted to experience it. But yeah, it's like, and that was one company that I was really surprised Microsoft didn't purchase back then. And I think they missed their opportunity now to purchase them. So I don't know. I don't think they went with Sony or anything, but I think I want to say I can't remember. I thought another company had like a smaller publisher had bought them. Not to say they couldn't buy them from that publisher, but I think they're a part of, because they were, I believe, I want to say they were independent when they were making those games for Xbox. But yeah, ever since then, last year we didn't get anything. And this year so far, we haven't gotten anything worth a damn. No,
it's been a drought, very, very much so. And what has come out has not been what we wanted. And what's to come out is already being hit with, bad press and everything because Redfall, like I mentioned earlier, it's only coming out releasing with 30 FPS. This is a console that right on the box says 4K 120. But you're not getting it on their first party game. I understand it if it was a third party developer, but this is a first party developer. Gears of War is gorgeous. And they're not able to do that. And that game is how old now? 3-4 years old. So Microsoft has really got to pull their heads out of their butts. I love the turnaround they've done since the Xbox One release. But they still got a long way to go. And they're making some strides, but they also seem to be making really bad decisions. So
yeah, and we talked about this before, and we said that Microsoft is from our understanding from the people that Microsoft now owns, Microsoft allows them to kind of do their own thing. But in the same sense, it's like, and we talked about this before, maybe Microsoft should be stepping in just a little bit and being like, hey, there's a quality standard that you need to hit before you release your title, right? Halo Infinite should have hit that, right? To show off, I mean, not just when the game released, but to show off Halo Infinite. People have been anticipating that. And the first showing that you show off Halo Infinite gameplay looks like you're running it off a potato. It looks so bad. That's where Craig was born, right? I mean, it's like, wow, come on, man. Like, hold yourself to a higher standard with this. And then when Halo Infinite, I enjoyed Halo Infinite, but it wasn't the Halo I wanted, right? And so even though I enjoyed it, I knew it wasn't going to get the Halo. It wasn't going to bring back that Halo feeling, right? And so, 343s is still going to be developing Halo games. And unfortunately, at this point, because they've had 3 chances and they destroyed all 3 of them. So it's like, give it to somebody else. But I mean, we have other games coming out. Yeah, Starfield's coming out. Hopefully Starfield ends up being a really good game. I'm hoping Redfall ends up being a really good game. Besides it running at 30 FPS, I'm hoping it ends up being a really great game, at least at first. They're going to patch it later. But, hopefully it ends up being a really great game that we all enjoy playing. I don't know. After all the press and things like that from Redfall, I don't have great hopes for it. And that really, disappoints me with, it's not like I'm saying I'm a Sony pony now or, screw Microsoft. I'm just at the moment disappointed in what they're doing. Right. I like the turnaround that Phil Spencer has done with the Xbox because it was crashing and burning. And he's brought it back to life, but it still has a long way to go. And right now it's just been mainly disappointment. Right. And that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like, I don't know. Right now it's just disappointment. They really need to get some stuff out the gate that is phenomenal. Hopefully Starfield's that way. Hopefully we'll learn more about the Fable remake, the Perfect Dark with the Initiative, if anything's going on with that, a Gears 6 game, whatever else they were working on. Avowed from Obsidian, Senua's Saga 2. Like, hopefully we'll get more information on these and kind of like closer to when these games are going to releasing. That's fine if they need time to really perfect it. And that's what we want, right? But, I think Starfield's the only thing besides Redfall and Starfield. That's the only thing I know of that's coming out first party from Microsoft this year. Is there something else? I'm sure there probably is something else that I'm missing, but I just can't think of anything. You think of anything?
I don't think so, but I mean, I'm sure there is, but it doesn't matter because Microsoft cannot get their ducks in a row. I mean, they push games back and they push them back, which I have no problems with delays. What I have is problems with dates 6 years early. We're going to release Gears 6 in February of 2029. It's like, really? Are you? I don't feel that's accurate. So Microsoft's biggest problem right now is Microsoft. Somebody's not making the right decisions. Now, Phil Spencer makes right decisions here and he makes right decisions there, but he's making wrong decisions in other areas. He's, granted, he don't make every choice, but you are right. They need to put that Nintendo seal of quality on their games now. That's one thing they really got to do. I don't need every game to be Last of Us, but I need every game to be Last of Us quality on PlayStation, not PC. That was a disaster. So,
yeah, it's got to have some standards, right? I feel like, Minecraft Legends or Dungeons or whatever the heck the last one that just came out is called, it got mediocre reviews. Now, and that's not to do with visually because it looks like Minecraft, but with gameplay, like if you're going to take Minecraft and turn it into a tactical strategy, like you should bring out the best, especially as a first party title, it should be like, from review standpoints and gamer standpoints, it should be a 9 right? I mean, that's what Sony hits every single time because they put that amount of work and quality into it. And also Microsoft don't delay a game, say, okay, well, this game's delaying 6 months, and then 6 months it's still a pile of crap, right? It was a turd 6 months ago. You delayed it 6 months. They just put a little spit shine on the turd, but it's still a turd, right? It's like you didn't do anything to it. Clearly, Halo Infinite's a good indication of this. Half of the features of the game were missing on launch. I mean, they're there now, but
co-op is
some
not
of them.
something you piss away on Halo. Co-op, if it ain't there day one, wait until it's ready. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Some of the decisions, like I said, it's like, you make great decisions here, but if you make stupid ones here, it doesn't matter how good these decisions were. These just crapped all over it. So,
right.
Even though we've gotten a little off topic, Microsoft's losing money, and it's because of dumbass decisions.
Exactly. Yeah. It all circles around to that. We talked about their last quarter. We talked about their last quarter. The second quarter, we talked about that, and they had decline in sales as well at that time. I think Game Pass had been up in the revenue, and that continues to grow, which is good, but everything else was declining. And it seems like in this third quarter, we're just seeing more of that decline, right? They're expecting things to go back up in the fourth quarter. We'll see, if we, at that time, I'm sure we'll talk about it and see what things have done. I mean, by that time we'll have, I'm not sure when their fiscal fourth quarter ends, but by that time, we should have Starfield out. We'll see what Redfall does and Starfield and whatever other games that Microsoft has coming out first party, which I don't know. That's the only ones I can think of. I'm sure there's others. I just can't think of what else is coming out. But let us know down in the comments what other games are coming out this year from Microsoft and what you're looking forward to, if any. Do you have anything else you want to add to this, Shane?
Stop releasing dog crap.
Stop releasing dog crap. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know down in the comments below. I mean, what do you think? Do you have an Xbox Series X now? And, having it for a while, not to say, and me and Shane both agree on this, not to say we don't enjoy and we don't like the Series X. I think it's a great console and a great platform. It just has nothing of value on it currently, right? And when I say nothing, except for Game Pass. There's no, it's got third-party offering, but so does everybody else, right? It has nothing that's exclusive to it. And they're not going to have that anymore because all their games go to PC as well. But I'm taking PC out of the equation and just saying, let's look at consoles, and compared to the three, Microsoft has nothing to offer you console-wise that you can't get on the other two, right? Exclusives on Nintendo plus third parties, exclusives on Sony plus third parties. Microsoft's just a third party box, right? Right now they have first party offerings, but those first party offerings don't seem to be worth it. But at least at the moment, right? Sometimes they do come out with some hits like Gears 5, 4 years ago or however long that was. And Ori, which was like 6 years ago or whatever. But I'm sure I'm wrong on the dates there. But anyway, let us know down in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Do you have an Xbox Series X? And has it, besides the, third-party offerings, has the first-party offerings made you regret your decision to get an X over a PlayStation? Let's say you don't have both, right? Let's say you just have an Xbox. Have you regretted that decision? Or, or are you agreeing with us that you would like to see Microsoft kind of make more in that first party division? Just right now, what they're releasing, what they're doing just isn't meeting the standards that we would expect as gamers, right? So let us know down in the comments below. But other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not already. That do us a big favor and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.